Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stand Up Speakeasy. My name is Sareth, and every episode of the Stand Up Speakeasy, I bring on a guest from the Central Time Zone and interview them because I was supposed to go on tour, but COVID hit and I couldn't interview comics on the road. So, with that being said, all the way from the Gulf Coast is Alicia Simmons Miracle. Hey, Alicia Simmons, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite
Now,
well.
how
Thank
you
you for.
pronounce your name again? I don't want to mess it up because I want to say Seth, but it's not. It's Sareth.
Yep, perfect.
Sareth. Okay. All right.
Uh, awesome.
Nice.
It's I think it's froze again because of the rain out in the Gulf Coast. I always say course because of it makes me think of golf course. So if you like, Alicia, come back into the exit again and come back in and see if that'll work and see if that'll help you out. Um, and I remembered interviewing comedians on golf course and Gulf Coast, and they would tell me it's a bit spotty sometimes, but the rain it's currently raining down there, and it makes it more spotty. And same happens on this side of the coast of Florida, where once it rains, it causes the internet to go out. But other than that, hopefully everything will be just fine, and Alicia finds her way back here. But um, with while Alicia's loading back into the stream, uh, her Facebook is on the bottom there, scrolling on the bottom, which is Alicia S. Miracle Comedian 33 on Facebook, and that's where you can reach her to book her and all that good stuff. So, um, so from what I've seen so far is these are a lot of comics from the golf course and all the way up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So Alicia's back into the lab, and we'll bring her on. Hey, Alicia. Hopefully it's okay after that. So because of the rain, but all right. So Alicia, I noticed that you're on the golf course. What's it like performing stand up in the Gulf Coast?
Hey, Sareth. Mother Nature. You know, I didn't do it.
Indeed, I totally understand it. It's like that on this side of the Florida too. So
Unnecessary. Yes. Better infrastructure. I guess during infrastructure week we'll get that done.
most definitely, indeed. And what's it like performing out there in the Gulf Coast?
It's different. I moved here from Los Angeles. It's fun. It's a lot of fun because most of the people in the audience is an audience and not a bunch of comedians. So so you can actually entertain people and not have them critique your set, but just enjoy.
Indeed, most definitely. I used to live in Los Angeles too. I lived in Sherman Oaks. What part did you live in?
I lived in the downtown area, West Adams district.
I've been around that area. Like I've been to like a Union Station, I believe, and a couple times. It was a lot of fun for sure. But
Said the last thing I lived in the West Adams district, like near USC, that area, and I lived by myself for some years on Crescent Heights and Pico, right across from the Mint. So
uh,
yeah, and then when I got married and met my husband, I lived in the West Adams area.
very cool. Yeah, the stadium is pretty neat. I went and saw the Rage Against the Machine at the Coliseum there once back in 2011. It was a pretty neat show.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one thing I do miss is like all the shows that you get to go to in Los Angeles, and I do miss that. The
Most
Hollywood Bowl and stuff. Yeah.
indeed, most definitely, it's a beautiful city for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
so, let's see here from Los Angeles to the Gulf Coast. I was watching your stand up from Off the Hook Bar and Grill,
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you met your stepmom that was from Alabama, and she knows she didn't know that you were married to your husband, who is a white
No,
man. And
oh
is that
no. My mother-in-law,
oh
my mother-in-law, my
oh that's
mother-in-law, her son. I'm at. When she met me, it was in L.A. and she didn't know. She didn't. He didn't tell her I was black. That's a
uh,
true story.
indeed my fault, not stepmom, mother-in-law. I mixed those up, and I was like, oh, awesome. Thanks for clarifying that for me. It would have been a little bit more awkward if it was a stepmom for sure.
Yeah, like if my stepmother didn't meet me, no, I do have a stepmother, and she has met me, and we don't talk. So,
Indeed, understand for sure. And let's see here, and what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy?
well, I come from a theater background. I'm originally from North New Jersey, so I got a lot of jokes. I grew up just making jokes to get out of fights. So it just came naturally when I moved to Los Angeles. And if I didn't book any stage work, live stage work, I would go to open mics and just work out jokes and stuff. And then it just I just started, like, my first show was at the Belly Room at the Comedy Store. And then it just went from there. I did stand up for 8 years in Los Angeles, and then I also was doing sketch comedy at the Groundlings, and that took up a lot of time. So, like, LA is so saturated with so many comedians, so it's very competitive to get time on stage. So I just really channeled all my energy into writing sketch and doing sketch comedy and more theater, so I can book more roles to be able to do more stand up, to be a name, make a name, so I don't have to fight so much to get 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, so I could just work on my set. And I felt like life had changed for me because I was single in those years of doing stand up, that I have a point of view anymore. But once I became a wife and a mother, I felt like I had more to say. So when I moved here, I was like, I have to go back to doing stand up because I have more of a voice than I did when I was in my early 30s, late 20s, So that's how I got back into it here in the Panhandle.
Indeed, most
Oh.
definitely. And what was the feeling like when you first performed stand-up?
It was like like, I mean, like, for people who are daredevils that like to jump off roofs and skydive and all of that, it felt like that. Like, I'm not that person, but it felt like that. Like, my first day, my first night in the Belly Room, walking up to the stage, I tripped and fell on my way up. And LA is such where people ignore the obvious thing. So I just called attention to it as soon as I got on stage. I was like, "Did y'all see my big ass fall?" And people started laughing. And I only had one joke. Um, and I had the audition to go into the Belly Room, and the woman that auditioned me, she was just like, "Yeah, you funny. You got any other jokes?" And I was like, "That's it. I only got that one joke." So I had to write about 5 minutes of comedy. But it felt so good. It felt so good, and I just never looked back. And even at like 6 months into doing stand up, I did Jamie Foxx's Laugh-A-Palooza, and I ended up going to Jersey. And my drama teacher from high school got to see me do stand up live at a club there for the competition. So I was like, audition, like, competing to perform at Caroline's. So that was like years ago, years ago. But it's nothing like it. I feel so alive in every way, being on stage. I love it because I bring everything to it, all my theater background, my ability to sing and write parody music and stuff, and that's how I started doing stand up. And I love to sing, and I love parody music, so I would put a lot of parody songs and stuff in my comedy.
Indeed, most definitely. The first time I ever did stand up
So,
was in
did you hear
LA.
me? No,
Yeah,
I know.
I did. It
Yeah.
was perfect for sure,
How was
and it was great. I performed at the Jump Cut Cafe in Studio City back in 2014, but they're closed now. But it was a lot of fun. I got so scared that I changed into my superhero alter ego, and I went on stage and performed stand up. So
oh,
it was
nice.
great, indeed.
Yeah,
And
I used
so,
to go to it was in West Hollywood, Studio City. Like they're all like kind of the same. They're right next door to each other. Um, I can't remember the name of the club, but it was like their biggest club in West Hollywood, right there, or Lakersham. Um, I can't, but they used to have an open mic, and from the open mic, they would pick comics to do their night shows and stuff. And I met the Wayans, Damon Wayans there, his kids, and niece and nephew, Shantae Wayans, and I started doing her shows as well.
ah, I believe the one on Lincolnshire was the Haha Cafe, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
right, the haha. I'm older and I'm a mom, so my brain I can't remember everything. It's the haha, yes, the haha
In
cafe.
Most definitely, indeed, it was good times over there for sure. And
Yeah.
if what are your favorite comedy specials and comedy record albums?
Um. Of course, I love Richard Pryor. I grew up listening to Richard Pryor, and I just recently watched his the documentary on Showtime of his after the JoJo Dancer, the whole Sunset thing and stuff. And I just love his work. Um, I really enjoy Leslie Jones. I enjoy Monique. Uh, the Kings of Comedy, I enjoy all of them. DL Hughley, his old stuff is really funny to me. Oh, of course, Dave Chappelle. Like, I mean, it's like no other. Like his DC show, live shows, the greatest, and the Chappelle show. I also like oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he has the show F is for Family, and I've seen him live at the Laugh Factory. Bill Burr, he is hilarious. I love him. I love him. And it's so many comedians who are not even known that I've seen in person, just doing shows and stuff that I've enjoyed watching, and even around here in the Panhandle. Right now, I really enjoy a woman from the Carolinas, Hillary. I can't remember her last name right now, but she came down and did the all female show here in the Panhandle. She had like a touring show, the hog, the uh, fertile hogs or something. I'm butchering the hell out of the title, but it was three female comedians, and they from the South, and they're hilarious from different southern states. And I really enjoy I really enjoy their comedy.
Indeed, most definitely. And a lot of those folks you mentioned earlier, like with Chappelle's show.
That's if I could, yeah, that's about it. If I think of anybody else, I'll drop it on.
Indeed, most definitely. And what are your favorite sitcoms, sketch shows, and comedy films? I think your internet was spotty again because of the rain. I think it's coming down again, and um, but uh, um, I think Alicia, I think if you want try logging back in and logging back out, or logging back out and then logging back in and see if it'll stop the freezing and from the rain. But yeah, Alicia's as a friendly reminder, Alicia's is Facebook is scrolling on the bottom there, which is at Alicia S Miracle comedian 33, and like her on Facebook and reach out to her to book her if you like, and her video on her Facebook page. is pretty hilarious, and it's pretty awesome that she has some COVID jokes lined up. So I won't repeat them, but it's definitely great that she was able to pull a lot of material um, from what we're currently in, and it's fantastic. So definitely take a look at it. And it's like 16 minutes long, and it's totally worth watching, and it's fantastic. But yeah, it's great to like talk to another fellow person that lives in Los Angeles, and taking all those roads from the Ha Ha Cafe to the Laugh Factory to the Comedy Store, etc. It's fantastic, but makes me think of like the sunshines that happens a lot over there, as like it does here in Florida for the both of us. So it's pretty awesome, and also the southern states. But as most southern states, it's rough with the internet, and I totally can relate to the whole uh, internet going down because of the whole rain that happens here, and it gets pretty crazy out here with when it comes to the rain. But definitely, it's great learning about Alicia so far, and so um, we're gonna continue with we're halfway done with the usual questions, and it's great to know what her favorite how what inspired her to perform stand up, and what was it feeling like for her to perform stand up, and what are her favorite comedy specials and comedy record albums are. And we're going to dive into other questions that you've seen on the show so far, which is which comedians she would like to go on tour with, which comedians that she would like to be roasted by, where she sees her comedy career in the next 5 years, um, which other forms of comedy she'd like to venture off into. As she mentioned, she has performed in stand up um, and sketches with the Groundlings out in LA, which is pretty rad. I remember going there, driving by there a couple times, but I never entered the building. So I was always working, and and all that good stuff. But we'll wait till uh, the doorbell rings on this again, and I'll try to keep you entertained while we are waiting. It's live, so that's and I never edit these, and because it's just like it's kind of like Saturday Night Live, like the sketches. Uh, you never know what's gonna happen when we go live, and there will be some bloopers. There's gonna be some outtakes, but we're gonna keep those outtakes intakes, I guess, and that's Alicia's back, so we're adding her back to the stream. Hey, Alicia, welcome back. I think we'll be okay for this one. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Okay. Yep, I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome, fantastic. And
Okay.
if you can go on tour with any comedian, which comedians would you like to go on tour with, internationally and locally?
Um, Jeff Gaffigan. um, I would love Leslie Jones, Monique. If Ricky, if Hall and Oates was doing shows, opening for them would be awesome. Um, hmm. I think that would be some of the comedians. Some of the comedians from the Daily Show I like. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being on tour with a bunch of them. Yeah, that
Indeed,
yeah.
and some local comics.
Jason Hendon, he's funny. I love his dad persona. His children are comedy gold. um, um, it's another Alicia. I can't remember her last name, but from Pensacola, and Hillary from South Carolina. The Feral Hogs. That's the group. The Feral Hogs. I wouldn't mind going on tour with them. Um, and I feel like I'm still getting to know a lot of the comedians around here, and they're in the routine. Like I felt like I was just getting in a rhythm when COVID hit because I was booked up for a lot of shows, and and my husband is a painter. This is one of his paintings behind me, and he was going to South Carolina to do an art show. So we was going to start there in the summer, and I was going to do a couple of shows there. So I feel like I'm still getting to know a lot of the local comedians, and hopefully getting to South Florida and doing some out of state will be, a testament. It'd be nice to work my way back to Los Angeles to a larger arena, you know, uh, doing shows. So I felt like I'm horrible with names. Um, so that is not like it is not a bad thing about anybody or their stand up. I may remember more their set than I do their name and their description. So I got family members. I only know their nicknames, their government given name. If you ask me, I'm like, nope, their name is Boo Boo. I don't know. I don't know their real name or Moo. I'm like, I only know their nickname. So that is just a testament of just how my brain works for some reason. I only know their I'm serious. I have cousins, they're like, well, what's their name? And I'm like, Booker. That's their nickname. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, don't even ask.
Indeed. And your husband painted a great painting in the background. And Jason's a great guy. I interviewed him earlier, and that's how you be connected. And great stuff for sure. And what are your favorite sitcom sketch shows and comedy films?
Oh my God. Um I love the teaming of Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Like I grew up dying laughing at all their movies. Um, right now, as far as comedy shows go, my husband loves Schitt's Creek, and I started the first season of Schitt's Creek, and I love it as well. Um, but I also really enjoy Utopia, the British version of Utopia. I enjoy a lot of British shows and comedies and stuff. And as far as like movies, comedy movies, hmm, it's so many of them. I mean, I love old movies. It's not too many current comedy movies that I'm in love with. Um, and they're probably escaping me right now. I'm a fan of Jeff Epithet. I'm butchering the hell out of his name, but I even like I got his book. I love his movies and stuff. Um, but I can't think of any current ones. I used to love the old. I do still enjoy old Adam Sandler movies, like his old ones, and I like seeing him do a lot of dramatic stuff as well. Um, and I'm trying to think of something that my husband and I watched, but it may be a while ago because we've been COVID. So we've watched a lot of movies and they all done blended in. We just watched Wonder Woman and I was mad as hell because I fell asleep so many times on it. So I was really like, it was just like a big build up. And I know you asked about comedy movies, but I was like, man, I've been waiting to watch Wonder Woman. I'm more into we watched Abominable last night with my 7-year-old son, and that was funny. That was a funny movie. Um, and F is for Family that's a good one on Netflix. Bill Burr's show, and but yeah, I can't really pinpoint it. I enjoy a lot of different stuff and everything. Right now, I'm just into Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, into the sci-fi stuff right now. And of course, like I still jump on SNL every now and again and watch some of the sketches and stuff on SNL. So I get with
Indeed.
that.
Most definitely. And
Yeah, I mean,
if
I I had to do a throwback on Christmas to Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase, because I have to watch that every year. because it's just so like it's like my favorite all time crazy funny comedy movie. No matter what, like that is gonna always be my number one for Christmas.
Most definitely, indeed. And if you can get roasted by five comedians, top five, past and present, which comedians would you like to get roasted by?
Woo. Um. Gosh. Dave Chappelle. um. Chris Spencer. Chris Spencer found me at the comedy reunion and brought me to the Laugh Factory, and he real funny. Um. Oh man. Oh my God. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Jason Hendon would be a good one. That's three. Um, Monique. Um, uh, oh, um, oh my gosh, how can I forget this woman? She from back. Oh my God. Oh, this is bad. This is like trivia. This is my fear about if I went on the Newlywed Show or something with my husband that we would lose because my brain wouldn't function well under pressure. Um, Adele Givens. You may not. I don't know if you like remember Adele Givens, but she's like from that Def Comedy Jam back in the day. She had this great fucking joke where somebody heckled her from the audience, and she has these really big lips, and she was like, your dick is so small, and it'd be like if my lips touched your dick, it'd be like feet in a well of Tic Tac. I die like I mean, I watched that in high school, and I still recite, I still just think about Adele Givens. So that's my five. That's my five right there.
Awesome stuff.
Yes.
And where do you see your comedy career in the next 5 years?
I would like to have like a special in 5 years. I would like to be able to have like an HBO special. Definitely want to be on Just for Laughs. Go be able to be a part of that festival, Just for Laughs. But in 5 years, I would like to be touring, have a few comedy specials already under my belt from Netflix to HBO to Showtime, and have a sitcom that's successful and already working. And that's I'm writing right now on a sitcom based on my family, me moving here and working for my mother-in-law at her storage company, which is like I've never worked at a storage company, especially in a panhandle. I am a city girl all the way. So it is definitely something that um, I laugh at when I'm writing it. I'm laughing out loud, and I would like to see that be successful along with my comedy career. Yeah.
Indeed, most definitely. And you mentioned that you did improv with the Groundlings out in LA, and I want to know what other forms of comedy would you like to venture off into, like improv, sketch, not improv, comedy writing, directing, acting, etc.
Okay. Repeat that last bit of that question.
Oh,
Improv. What is it?
comedy writing, acting. You mentioned that you're doing a sitcom about your life too, so like directing, would you like to try improv, stuff like that, like other forms of comedy?
Oh yeah. Well, I was at the Groundlings for years. I was in the Sunday Company, which was definitely a highlight. I was able to train the way that they work at SNL, at Saturday Night Live, and I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world. And if people are thinking about going into comedy, and if stand up is not who you are, if you can't get on stage and do stand up, and some people can't, but they're super funny. Like I met a lot of people at the Groundlings that's great talents who can write really well. I'm not per se a writer, but being at the Groundlings taught me how to write and structure my writing which helps me in my stand up where I can write a full set and write jokes, and as well as like doing stand up and stuff. And comedians are generous. I felt that when I would do shows, because I was so new to stand up when I lived in LA, that there were some comedians who have been doing it for eons, for years, who, if you are good, they would they would be so generous to help you write that joke. Like I said, Chris Spencer, I only had a few jokes, but he liked me enough to say you need to do chocolate sundaes. and everybody was like, "Oh no, that room is no joke. No, girl, you gonna get real." Like, and I got 3 minutes at chocolate sundaes, and it was so good. It felt good because I come from a different background. It didn't scare me. I was just like, I'm doing this to stay fresh in theater, but it became my life, and every audition I would go out on in LA, from commercials to theatricals, I was always the sassy, funny black lady, if people are thinking about it and they're in LA, I would not shy away from the Groundlings or UCB, and a lot of people are putting out podcasts, and during COVID, um, a lot of things have come out, about diversity and stuff, and everybody's trying to work on being more diverse. I was the only black woman in my Sunday company. Was it comfortable? No, it wasn't. But I had become accustomed to always seeing myself as, you can forge ahead. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I went to a predominantly white college where sometimes I was the only black student in my class, but that doesn't stop anybody. That shouldn't stop you. And we learned about diversity on my college campus. And to say that the Groundlings, like, everybody was so open to learn it. But when I got to Sunday Company, it was just such a beast, and I was a new mother and a new wife, and that's no excuse, but the workload was even more intense. So being the only black woman stood out for me. It just stood out for me because I felt like I was on an island by myself, but I wasn't. I wasn't. And so I recommend that if you want to go into comedy, it's okay to study. Don't just jump on a stage and say, I got this. Talk to people and be open for critiques. Be open for somebody who knows what they're doing to say, let me help you with that joke. I have so many fond memories of being in Los Angeles. And I tell my husband this, that, like, comedians were rough, are rough. And I remember doing the haha my first night, and Leslie Jones was doing the haha. And this is well before SNL came her way. And so blessed that it did. But Leslie is hilarious. And she was just like, I went up to her. I was like, you are so funny. I love you so much. And she did not give me the time of day whatsoever. She was like, why is this woman even in my face? And then when she heard the laughter coming from the audience when I was on stage, she opened up to me and talked to me. And then we ran into each other again. And she gave me an ending to a joke that I have been working on. And so I was just like, you have to not take anything personal. Like, people will have bad days or they have good days. And being in LA, you'll hear comedians talk about, oh, when I'm famous, I want to be stabbing motherfuckers. I want to I want to block them out of my rooms and da da da. Everybody is looking for revenge and vendettas, and it's like, no, if when you famous or when you're working, it's when you're working, you don't have the energy to think about when you wasn't working. You're like, I'm working so much, I don't have the energy, that I can't think about the negativities or anything. It's many rooms that I did not get booked in. That is many of people who just were having a bad day and wasn't able to see what I can bring to the table, and that's fine. But I tell people, don't give up. If you love it, do it. Comedy is not easy, and black comedy clubs are not easy because black people, like, I paid my $20 and you better make me laugh. I don't care what you gotta do. You better make me laugh. So it's being here in the panhandle, and let me tell you, rednecks are just like black people. Like because they like, what you got, girl? What you gonna do? You know. And once I let them know I'm married to a white man, they open. They're like, oh well, what's going on with that? but but it's just I encourage people who want to do this to do it with an open heart and an open mind, and don't judge yourself so harshly because the world is already doing that. You know, be open about it, loving about it, and everything. I mean, I feel so blessed that I was able to come. I thought that I would never go back to stand up because I had lost my voice. I really had nothing to say. And I read Franklin Ajay's book, The Comic Insight, when I first started doing stand up. I read Judd Apatow's book, and I was just like, this is important. And those materials are important. And studying at the Groundlings, there was a lot of older comedians who, worked with Will Ferrell and Maya Rudolph and stuff, who gave me tools, who talked to me, and I really listened and I applied them not just to my work, but to life, and know that like nothing is given. And you work hard for it, still don't mean that it's going to be given to you. It's just a matter of really putting in the work and knowing that you want to give your quality. You don't want to, people not stupid. Like I tell comedians that come to me out here that want to get booked on Jason Hendon's shows, and I'm like, Jason is not stupid. He knows good quality work. He knows when you have doing your work and you're writing, and you are funny and you are doing it. He is not going to let you get over on his stage, and I appreciate him for that. So I tell him, make sure you come fully correct, because he wants to put on a good show for his audience, because this is his name, this is his reputation. And if he puts crack comedians on stage, people gonna be like, I don't want to go to none of those comedy shows, because it's hard to sit in an audience and watch somebody bomb because you want them to succeed. People don't pay their money to watch you not succeed. They pay their money because they want to see you succeed. They want to have fun. They want to laugh at you and with you. So I say, if they're going to do it, if you in LA, yes, go study, read a book, pay that little bit of money, save up that cash, and get some honest things under your belt. And if you are just interested in doing stand up, hit up those open mics, hit them all up, and talk to those bookers and get your reel going, get your tape going, so you can send it to people and stuff and say, hey, this is my stand up and everything. It's so many things out there that wasn't, so many resources that weren't there when a lot of people first started. And they'll tell you, it's like, when I first started, please, I hear the stories. They like, oh, nobody would say a word to me, call me a name and everything, just try to break you down, because they like, if this is not for the weak at heart. And I tell people, it's not for the weak at heart and everything. You can't be down on yourself. So you got to wake up every day and say, do I love doing this? And if you don't love doing it, don't do it. Just don't do it. So yes, I love writing and directing. I directed a short a long time ago, a long time ago, just to see if I had the ability to do it, and I do it. So now working on this show, this sitcom for my family, about my family, is something that I'm producing, and I'm doing a pilot here, and hopefully COVID will not keep me away from it. But I am putting the funds together, and I want to be asking people for money and stuff so I can pay my cast and crew to get that pilot done. But I'm very excited about it, and I look forward to the next chapter of my life.
Indeed, Alicia. And I wish you all the best with the sitcom and all that good stuff. I can't wait to see it for sure. And what is your favorite joke a comic has ever written?
Um, that Adele Givens joke was was funny, pretty funny to me. Um, um, You know what? My favorite joke I think is well, Dave Chappelle. I can't remember the. It's more of one of his sketches from the Chappelle show. When keeping it real goes wrong, because I'm because it just reminds me so much about growing up in Jersey when you're trying to keep it real with somebody, and next thing you know, you in a fight. And it's like people be wanting the truth, but they don't really want the truth. So and even I don't care how you put it out there, the truth or not, it might cause you some pain. It might cause you some a bit of hiccups or something. So that is one of my, and that's a is one of my favorite jokes and stuff. And I do I try not to remember a lot of people's jokes, so I don't rewrite it, because you know how you when you're writing, you may stilling is the greatest form of flattery, but I don't like to still too much. I don't like to still at all because I like to just to be my voice. So I try not to remember a lot of people's jokes, but oh, Lavelle Crawford is another great comedian. Um, and oh man, he it's just his delivery on a lot of his stuff. He has lost a lot of weight, but before he was like really heavy, and he was like one of the regulars at the Comedy Union on Pico. And I did one of his shows one night, and when I was new, and I noticed how like comedians would rib on the host, and I was like, oh, you can say something about the host. And I come from a family where we all crack jokes on each other, right? So when Lavelle Crawford introduced me to the stage, I like, and I'm a big girl, and I was a big girl then. I was probably smaller than what I am now. So anyway, when I got on stage, I was like, oh, Lavelle, man, I thought you was going to pass out from diabetes or a heart attack or something coming up on this stage. So that is like my thing now. Like, I have to say something about the host and everything. And Lavelle Crawford, his delivery, like when he said something about me, because I had my afro, I just cut my locks out, so my afro was short. He said something about me going back to Africa. It was so funny, his delivery on it. And because sometimes you may not have a funny joke, but your delivery is, and he's one of those people where he turns the mic to the side, and he got like this whole thing and everything. And it's like, it's great to see him on Breaking Bad, and now Better Call Saul. And I'm like, if people have never seen his stand up, he is one to watch. Like, he has a Showtime special and stuff, and he is hilarious. He another southern fella, and he is truly a genius in his comedy. So that's another one I would love to roast me. So that's six. And I can't remember none of his jokes, but his delivery on stuff is always funny to me.
Indeed, most definitely. And my friend Aaron that lives in St. Augustine, we talked about the when keeping it real goes wrong, and my favorite jokes from Lavelle were the ones where he's at the grocery store and he has to repeat after his mom, and the other one was like where he got a kiss from his mom, but it was like came from like a wrong place, and it was like when it was just like he closed it out, and it was just so amazing. Like you mentioned, his delivery is amazing, so I love it. And
Yeah.
what experience would you like your audience to take with them after a set is over?
um, that you can that I don't know. I mean, like I like that people walk away laughing, and understanding that here I am. I'm this very black woman, very Afrocentric, and my husband is all country. he all like he is not, and I talk about that in my comedy and stuff. Like, his mom being from Alabama, he was born in Kentucky, raised in South Florida, and we were able to find each other and have have this bond, and make a family and make it work and find comedy in it. And my husband, like, the one thing about being a comedian is having somebody to make you laugh, and I would like my audience when they walk away is like, this lady is absolutely hilarious and she loves her family because she talks about them so truthfully that I'm very honest about them, and I just and I'm not I don't do a lot of political stuff, but I would like for people to see how we can be so different, and come from a long history of a division, but we are so much alike in every way. And the thing that we have all in common is that we love to laugh. That we love to smile and laugh and have joy, no matter what. No matter what is going on, we tend to find a break of joy. I mean, if we did a survey throughout the entire world, I think just about everybody has a favorite comedian or a favorite comedy show, something that they laugh at, whether it's just them and their family getting around the table making fun of each other. So that's what I want people to walk away and say, like this lady, Alicia really enjoys making fun of her family and keeping it real about her life as long as it's not going wrong. So and that I like to sing.
Indeed, most definitely. And we spoke of all the clubs that you performed in Los Angeles, and what is your favorite memories of performing at Off the Hook? When I saw your video on Facebook, what's your favorite memory
Oh,
from the venue?
from that show, um, besides me forgetting my entire set, like I forgot. I because it was a while since I had done a show. I had written like a whole new set, and it was so late. I probably shouldn't even say this, but my favorite thing was making fun of the host at first, was talking about him. And I got so into it, that's why I forgot my set. I was just like, oh God, I could do this all night, I could just go on all night because he was just such a good little host, And but my favorite joke is like talking about my son because he is growing up like a different way than I grew up, and I tell him it's so funny because I always tell him like mom grew up really poor. He was like I can tell, and I'm like how can you tell? He was like just the stories you tell about your parents and the things y'all would do like we didn't do like his father talk about I went boating and he got pictures of vacations when he was a kid and stuff. And I don't have no pictures. I have like school pictures, but we'll have no pictures of vacations or nothing like that. He's like, I can tell, like, oh my God, thank God I'm not growing up like you. So I love telling jokes about my son because although he's growing up very different than I did, he has never been to Newark, New Jersey, but he got a little bit of Newark in him. So I love telling jokes about him. These dogs, my dogs over here, fighting, play fighting. Cut it out. Sorry.
It's
I
okay.
had this damn lab. She'll start with the older dog, and just go at it. But I do love the jokes about my son. I do love that. But yes, I mean, that and the host, like picking with the host dirt. Because I was asking, I was like, "Is that your real name? Like your mama gave you that name before the show?" I was asking that, and I was just like, well, "Don't tell me your government name because I'll forget it. I'll just remember that nickname." So
Indeed. And I remember watching your stand up and you were talking about your lab in the set too, which was great. And I love dogs too, so it's good stuff.
no, this dog, she is wild. She is wild. Here she come licking, like just licking my hand. Raven, you want to say hi? Come on, you can. I'll let you jump up on me for a moment. Oh, she walking around. You tell her to do something bad, and she don't want to do it. But yeah, my son picked her out from the puppy rescue and stuff. But she is, oh gosh, this dog. She falls asleep chewing a bone and chewing on my husband's socks. And we wake up in the morning, she got to another pair of socks. She she is no, we have three dogs. We have Fudge, our pit bull from LA that my husband had her when I met him. And I had a little Jack Russell Chihuahua Rat Terrier, Othello was his name, and he passed away 10 days after my son was born. And so we just had Fudge, and then we moved here. And after Hurricane Michael, we got Littleman, Joshua Littleman, this little applehead Chihuahua that was left overnight. And nobody ever came back to get him. So he's ours now. We got papers on him, got him chipped. And then our COVID lab, Raven, and she's 9 months. And a handful. She a handful. When you started, she was like, she wakes up every morning. If she'll have a squeak toy, she'll just be in the morning squeaking on a toy. You can wake up to her squeaking on a toy. And you're like, what is wrong with this fucking dog? She a mess. She a hot mess. She is. She a
Oh, that's
mess. And Fudge is like, Fudge is our old lady, our good old lady, who still looks like a puppy and acts like a puppy, but she 11. She 11.
indeed, most definitely. And what are some of your other favorite venues to perform at in the Gulf Coast? Gulf Coast.
Other venues, I like the Bourbon. Uh, that's St. Andrews. I was looking forward to performing at Newbies. Oh, I want to perform there so bad. And I know they had a show. They had a show, and I was asked to perform, but I won't do any inside shows right now. So I'm looking forward to when this is all over, performing at Newbies and Captain Anderson's, and going to Pensacola and performing at some of the shows there, some of the clubs there, and I'm open to any and every club. I don't have any. I could do a very clean show. Uh, like when I was doing stand up in LA, I was a temp for a plumbing company, a family company, and I ended up becoming like permanently working for them, and they hired me to do the entertainment for their Christmas party. So it was like, so I started getting work like that, doing like I got hired to do weddings. Um, a friend hired me to be the MC for her wedding and do stand up and stuff. And that ended up being like my money, like getting paid, because you don't get paid for stand up in LA at all until you made it to your name. And so people started hiring me to do stuff like that, like Tiffany Haddish. I didn't get to do any bar mitzvahs, but I did weddings and Christmas parties. So that was fun. So I just write for whatever occasion and being around the people or testing the rooms out and seeing. I always come with a set ready to go, but I always incorporate the energy of what's in the room, the people in the room and stuff, and it always works out fairly well. And that's because of my improv background that I'm able to do that. All right, now this little chihuahua coming out here, get out of here. Sorry.
It's okay, Alicia. And so, Alicia, as Jason had nominated you for to be my guest on the show, which comedians in your area of the Gulf Coast would you like to see as my guest on a future show?
See, I would have to go with Tam Taylor. I don't know if you heard of her. She had a show here, Tam Time, and it ran on a local television station. And and she is working her comedy career. She's also an actress working on her acting career, and she had her local show, and it was like a hit. You know, as she got a lot of people watching it and everything. And she's the owner of the ice cream Brewster's. Yeah, Brewster's on Thomas Drive. She owns that place. The Queen. She calls it the Queen Creamery, and she's a pretty funny lady. Um, who I know I absolutely say that she's a good friend. And I think she would be a good person to interview. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And again, I still don't know a lot of comedians. So I want, if you asking me for this area, I would have to give it to her, and because I know her work and I know her name.
Absolutely. I'll definitely reach out to Tam for sure and see if I can get her on the show and interview her for sure about her comedy journey. And Alicia, please thank you so much for being my guest on the show, and it means a lot to me. And be sure, if all the viewers at home, please like Alicia's Facebook page that's scrolling on the bottom there. And it's also scrolling. It's on the bottom of the description box below, so you can click on that too. And book Alicia after the whole pandemic's over, and get her some more paying gigs and all that good stuff. She can work clean comedy and all that good stuff. So, and her comedy is off the charts from Off the Hook. From your webpage, I enjoyed it very much. So,
Thank
and
you.
you're welcome, Alicia. And is there any final words that you'd like to give out to the audience watching at
Well,
home?
I want to know, like, what is your name from? What is the meaning of your name?
Oh, it's Cambodian, and I'm
Oh,
Cambodian, and so everyone thinks I'm everything else but Cambodian. And the meaning of my name, it came from the lady that played Kirsty Cotton in the movie Hellraiser 1 and 2, and those Hellraiser movies. And she said, you know, your name, you don't know where it came from, but you know where you're going. And so
oh, wow.
and it made a lot of sense. And I'm like, that works for me because when I was living in LA, the guy that wrote Hellraiser and Candyman and those movies, I was his apprentice out there. So that's how Ashley and I got to have lunch. And that's when we had lunch at Greenleaf's on Santa Monica Boulevard. That's when she gave me the meaning of my name. So Greenleaf's is no longer there, but I'm not sure what restaurant's there now. But it used to be an old vegan restaurant back when I lived out there. So that's where all
Yeah.
my name came, the meaning came from.
Oh, well, yeah, I like that. I like that. My son is named Apollo, and so he tells his friends, "My parents named me after the sun god,"
Oh.
which is true because people be like, "Oh, Apollo Creed and stuff." We're like, "Yeah, okay, no." I was like, before there was the Apollo Creed, there was a sun god and everything. So that's good. That's good to know. I just was like so curious about your name when I first saw it when you first reached out to me. That's good.
And most definitely, it's definitely a fun ride so far. And I don't know where it came from, as Ashley said, but or I don't know where it came from, but I know where I'm going. And so far, life has been great. So.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Indeed, as you say, indeed.
Indeed, absolutely. I say indeed so many times, like Indeed.com should sponsor me, I guess.
They should. They should. They should reach out to you.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, Alicia, it was a pleasure and an honor to interview you today, and I look forward to meeting you in person once I go on tour and COVID is over. And I'll piece this all together and I'll send it your way as soon as I come back home from Orlando because I have to go pick up my sister from the airport. But I will see you soon, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alicia, and thank everyone for watching. And we will see you
Awesome.
soon on the next stand-up
Awesome.
speakeasy. Fantastic. We'll see you soon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Alicia. We'll see you soon for sure. Be safe out there. Bye. Take care. Awesome.
Happy
Be
New
well,
Year.
everyone. Happy New Year to you